Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith. Today I'm talking about Why I Love Horror. Essays on Horror Literature, edited by Becky Siegel Spratford. And there's an introduction by Sadie Hartman, aka Mother Horror. And this is from Saga Press. Back cover copy. In this book, beloved librarian and noted critic Becky Siegel Spratford has asked 19 of the top horror authors of this current moment to write an essay to let you know why they love horror and explain why they have made it their life's work. The results are as diverse and engaging as the fiction these authors produce. Whether you are a hardcore horror fan or just someone who is intrigued by its current surge in mainstream popularity, or even a big old scaredy cat, there is something in this book for you. I gave this book. Actually, I don't remember what I gave this book. Let's find out together. I know that it was at least 4 stars. I don't remember if I gave it 5. So let's just take a little browse here. And what did I do? 4 stars. I don't know how people are going to feel about that. Anyway, it is what it says on the tin, essays on horror literature. So we have, Sadie Hartman does the introduction. We have Brian Keene, Haley Piper, John Langan, Alma Katsu, Gabino Iglesias, Tananarive Dew, Jennifer McMahon, Josh Ballerman, Paul Tremblay, with drawings by Emma Tremblay, Grady Hendricks, Cynthia Palaio, Clay McLeod Chapman, Nuzo Ono, Rachel Harrison, Victor Laval, Mary Sangiovanni, David Demchuk, and Stephen Graham Jones. And Becky Siegel Spratford has, let's actually check, because I keep saying an introduction. It does say introduction by Sadie Hartman. And then there's the opening piece is Why Ask Why by the editor, Becky Siegel Spratford, where she talks about her credentials and how she ended up putting this book together. And then what she's done is sort of grouped the essays together. So we start off with Brian Keene, Haley Piper, and maybe a couple more who talk about something in their childhood that sort of inspired them in horror, and just very basically, like Brian Keene talks about reading Giant Size Man Thing #1, Marvel comic book, with the wonderful character of Man Thing. And Haley Piper talks about Godzilla. And then there are some that get a little deeper, some that get very personal, and then some that are done in different styles. So I believe it's Josh Mallerman's is told like a story of him meeting a man on a train, and they start having a discussion of literature, and Josh Mallerman is essentially defending reading and writing horror to this sort of book snob. Might be a little too far, but you know what I mean. And then Paul Tremblay's are just little sort of vignettes with drawings by his daughter, and I'll just throw one of those drawings up here. Or maybe 2. Well, no, I'll cover one up. Here's a bee. There you go. So he talks about why bees. And so, some fun, nice little drawings. And then Grady Hendricks gets very personal, but my personal favorite essay in the whole thing is from Cynthia Palaio, who really opens herself up and really talks about her childhood and what made her into the woman that she is today, made her into the writer that she is today. I'm a huge fan of Cynthia Palaio's stuff, and just really loved how much she opened up and talked about things in this essay. And then like Rachel Harrison's is it's fun. There's some fun stuff in it, but there's also some very serious stuff in it. Victor Laval talks about trying not to write horror because he didn't think it was appropriate to be a horror writer. That wasn't the thing to do. So, again, all sorts of really interesting, some very fun, some very dark and sad. Just a nice, really nice collection of essays talking about, and some don't necessarily specifically address the why I love horror part of it. They all at least touch on it, but some maybe lean away from it a little bit as well. But it's a question I've never been able to answer. I mean, the simple answer is because I grew up with it. I grew up watching Scooby-Doo, and we had Big Chuck and Houlihan, which then became Big Chuck and Little John. Friday nights, got to stay up late, and they showed monster movies. And on Saturdays, we had Superhost, and he showed monster movies, as well as sci-fi stuff, but old sci-fi stuff. But it was all the old monster movies. And I've been reading horror stories for as long as I can remember reading. But, I mean, the question is, why am I drawn to it? Was it simply because Scooby-Doo was on, and so I watched it? And this, again, back when we only had basically 4 channels, and you watched whatever was on, and so did simply because that was on, so that's what I watched, and so that just got into my brain, and I liked monsters because of that? Or was there something that actually attracted me to it? I've never been able to answer this question. But these people do their best to answer it, and they do a good job. I would be interested in seeing like another volume of this with 19 more authors talking about why they love horror. So if you're a fan of horror, if you're a fan of any of these authors, any or all of these authors, I say check this out. It's a good read. And so 4 out of 5 for why I love horror. Essays on Horror Literature, edited by Becky Siegel Spratford. And the question for the video, I think, is just going to be the easiest question for me to ask. Why do you love horror? I've already said I've never been able to actually answer that question. I certainly didn't go through some of the things that some of these authors went through. I wasn't really abused, but I guess that's a matter of opinion. I think quite a bit, not 100%, but I think 60% of my childhood was very similar to Brian Keene's, at least from what I've heard, what he's talked about. Huge comic book fan. Got a lot of stuff broken over my ass. Wooden spoons, yardsticks, beat with belts, spanked with belts. And then at one point, my father made a homemade paddle out in the garage, did some woodworking, wanted something with a good grip that fit his hand. And he ripped my hair out one time because I got gum in it. He just grabbed it and pulled a chunk of hair out. But he didn't, beat me with fists. So some people think that, getting spanked, that's just childhood. Some people think getting spanked is being abused. So definitely didn't go through some of the things some of these people went through. And so that's why they sort of gravitated to horror. There's a lot of that talk of, horror is a safe way to deal with horrific things, horror fiction, safe way to deal with horrific things, whether it's personal or out in the world. I've never thought that deeply about it as in regards to myself. So I can't really, as I've said, I can't really answer the question, but I'm posing it to you. Why do you love horror? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. It's nonfiction, but post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. And if you'd care to follow me on other social media, I'll have links for my Instagram and Blue Sky in the description below. That's all I have for you this time. That's not how I do these things. That's all I have for you. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith. And until next time, read more books.